Look outside, you get sleepy.
Okay, hello everybody. Today is Wednesday, September the 27th, and we are continuing in our study of A Course in Miracles. We are in chapter 3, The Innocent Perception, still in section 3, Perception versus Knowledge. And today we're trying to squeeze in 3 and 4, those two paragraphs together. Would anybody like to begin in prayer? Okay, I will. So let's just be still for a moment. Align ourselves for creation. Knowing each and every breath and thought is that connection. And as we know that there is only one source, that source is infinite and eternal. And we can see this source as all love, all peace, all patience, and all motion, always continuing, always gaining and knowing and being. And with that, we see ourselves as part of that being, holding ourselves in alignment with that, focusing, allowing our consciousnesses to be pure and direct. And as we see that direction, we know that the gratitude of this life is that we are connected to that being, allowing us to be as well. And as we begin to see ourselves as grateful, as unanimous, as thankful, we allow ourselves to just release this feeling, release it through our entire body and through our environment, our communities, our nation, and this world. And with that we say, and so it is.
And so it is.
So Harriet, do you want to go ahead and start reading 3 and 4?
You want me to read both of them?
Yeah.
Now? Okay. As was already mentioned, we are in chapter 3, section 3, and we're starting today with the 3rd paragraph. So 333. Is that an angel number or what? The questioning mind perceives itself in time and therefore looks for future answers. The closed mind believes the future and the present will be the same. This establishes a seemingly stable state that is usually an attempt to counteract an underlying fear that the future will be worse than the present. This fear inhibits the tendency to question at all. True vision is the natural perception of spiritual sight, but it is still a correction rather than a fact. Spiritual sight is symbolic and therefore not a device for knowing. It is, however, a means of right perception which brings it into the proper domain of the miracle. A vision of God would be a miracle rather than a revelation. The fact that perception is involved at all removes the experience from the realm of knowledge. That is why visions, however holy, do not last. Wow. When we look at that first sentence, the questioning mind perceives itself in time and therefore looks for future answers. And when I read that, the word in that sentence that really struck me was the word time. And when I looked back at the miracle principles, there are several that kind of, I guess you could say, define time. And the first one is miracle number 15, which states each day should be devoted to miracles. The purpose of time is to enable you to learn how to use time constructively. It is thus a teaching device and a means to an end. Time will cease when it is no longer useful in facilitating learning. So, in other words, what I'm understanding, and my understanding is that once we know and know for certain we know the truth, time is relevant.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you there. Yeah, and oh no, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just going to give the other two because there's two other principles that,
Well,
but
go ahead.
we can. Okay. Well, the next one is miracle principle number 25. And that says miracles are part of an interlocking chain of forgiveness, which, when completed, is the atonement. Atonement works all the time and in all dimensions of time. So again, I'm seeing that idea of time being irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
And the last one, number 47, and that reads, the miracle is a learning device that lessens the need for time. It establishes an out-of-pattern time interval, not under the usual laws of time. So I'm getting it. I'm getting it. Time is irrelevant.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, you've been saying it, and I've been hearing it, but I haven't been, I know I got
it. And you know, when we see that we're just doing that to learn whatever lesson that we're in at that moment, it really makes it more clearer.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you don't notice it as much.
Right, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
And it starts with you, Andre?
Um, I, I don't. I agree. I agree with what is being said and how it's being broken down on what was being said in as far as the miracles and how that word and how the word time is used. I don't think that time is irrelevant. I do think it's more or less a tool, but what sticks out to me in the sentence was not necessarily the time. It was the forefront of looking for an answer. So the future stuck out. Future answers stuck out to me more than the
More
time.
so than time.
Because I take time as a tool. I will never ever say that time is irrelevant because time is something that we all can sit here and say exists.
Yeah, but the future is time.
Yes, we can all say the time. We all can say, but we can all say time exists because in the present point, we are in a certain point of time in the presence. We can look at the stars, we can look at the sun, we can look at the moon, we can we can we can count. We can see how shadows move to certain things. So I will never say that time doesn't exist. I will say that nature moves or and it's not always the same thing. Time is not always. It's a constant. It's a constant movement, just the same as gravity is a constant movement.
Yeah,
It,
all of that's time.
yeah. So I wouldn't say that it would be irrelevant, but I would say that um like I said, I look at it as far as future answers, which more or less is us questioning, what's going to happen next, because we are still dealing with physical bodies. So we're dealing with a physical experience. So I'm looking at it from a point of view, if not disagreeing, but trying to puzzle them together and see if, like, if we stop questioning and just do it,
Hmm.
it unravels time. I mean, because there are a lot of
Hmm.
times, majority of the time, we're kicking and screaming about something we don't want to do, but we're supposed to be doing it.
Right.
Mhm.
Yep, and
Mhm.
that's exactly what this is saying.
So if
That's
we stop
exactly what this is saying.
questioning that future, that means that means while we're in the time of doing it, I guess it doesn't make it as harsh as what's going on. I guess that's my question. But I mean, I agree, I do, but I think time does play a part in it.
Yeah, well, for my understanding, time is only here so that we can learn a lesson.
Mhm. Mhm.
So yes,
Mhm.
it is a tool, and it's an instrument that we can see through. That's why I say, that's why we say, it really doesn't exist, because we can see through it if we are allowing ourselves to see through it. It really is. Not only is it invisible, it's not as dense as we think that it is.
Well, yeah, and I
Mhm.
think I like the way that you just put that, because that's where I'm looking at it, because it's like, no matter wherever, no matter, even if you kick and scream and you make a decision on something that you have to
Mhm.
do it or you don't do it, time doesn't go anywhere. 6 o'clock doesn't change.
Right, right, yeah.
If you say I ain't going to work, it's not 3:30 in the afternoon after you decide that I ain't going to work today.
Mhm.
Or I'm not getting up mess with the kids today, or anything, just our normal everyday basis that we deal with time. I think that's where our issue with where what it's saying is questioning and then time, because we're questioning what's going to happen in time for that future, and and like it's and I not to go ahead, but that's that fear that kicks in, because it's like,
Mhm. Well,
oh, I
that's
already
what
know what's
sentence number
going
two
on.
says. When you look at sentence number two, the closed mind believes the future and the present will be the same.
Mhm.
Not putting any thought into circumstances and situations and consequences, and you know
Yeah. How many
all of
times?
those
Yeah.
things that all of those things that fit into the present. You
Yeah.
know.
And
Hmm.
that's where it's like, how many times have you planned your day before you even put your feet on the ground?
Yeah.
Just to get out of the bed. How many times have you gone, I gotta get up, I gotta do that, I gotta do that, and that, and that, and that. And you go through your whole day
Mhm.
before you have even eaten your breakfast or had your first cup of coffee, or, you
Gone to the
know,
bathroom.
gone to the bathroom,
Hmm. Oh,
or oh
that good
God,
stuff.
don't be in the bathroom and thinking about it, because you ain't never gonna leave the bathroom.
Um,
So yeah, that's a good one, especially with the week I'm having with this one.
Um,
So is it saying, so a question is both of those sentences saying that we should not worry, um worry into what the future is going to do, or what's going to happen in the future?
Yeah, because I think that the more we stay present at this present moment, saying that if there is, this is the only time that there is,
Right
this
here and
present
now.
moment, and if we keep our minds open to that and understanding that each moment is the past and the future all at the same time, so and I think that this is what this is saying: the closed mind believes the future and the present will be the same. Well, what happened 2 minutes ago, if I scratched my leg 2 minutes ago, then 2 minutes from now, am I going to scratch my leg again? Something wrong. you know So we're always living in the past, the future, and the present all at once, all the time. And I think that like number 3 says, this establishes a seemingly stable state that is usually an attempt to counteract an underlying fear, just said that, T, that the future will be worse than the present. Scan ourselves for nothing. Boo, boogie, boogie, boogie.
Yeah. Okay, which boogeyman gonna come up today? Who am I gonna get in a fight with?
And with that one, this establishes a seemingly stable state that is usually an attempt to counteract an underlying fear that the future will be worse than the present. And again, I kind of looked at the principles because fear struck me there. And principle number 22 says, miracles are associated with fear only because of the belief that darkness can hide. You believe that what your physical eyes cannot see does not exist, and this leads to a denial of spiritual sight. So again, what I'm understanding there is that we need to keep our spiritual eye open. It doesn't matter whether the physical eyes are open or not. As long as we keep that spiritual eye open, we'll be able to see and understand and have no need to fear.
Yeah. And the thing is that our spiritual eye has always been open all the whole time, but it's hard to
Acknowledge
see that.
it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to see that. You do have to kind of like grow into it. And then you still
I think sometimes when that spiritual eye is open and we are aware of it, it can be frightening.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, I'm looking at that sentence again, and this establishes a seemingly stable state. That's creating something. That's making something where you can not necessarily touch it, but you can feel it. You know, you can't touch the wind, but you can feel it. So that it's turning it's taking molecules almost and making them an atom. So if you're thinking that way, that's a heavy that's a heavy one. That one messed me up. That's a heavy one.
It's that energy. You're
it's
talking about feeling. It's that energy
it's pushing,
that's
yeah. And if you don't
yeah.
push it, yeah, if you can't if you can't get it stable, then it will self-destruct. You have to have it, you have to hold that energy in a certain concentration.
Do we
or
really have to hold it, or just let it be and just feel it and enjoy the
just be
moment?
comfortable, or just be comfortable
Right.
in that, with that energy that is either around you, or you're absorbing,
And this is just
or
like what you were talking about the other day, T, with Libra, with balance. You know, you know, I always say you usually an attempt to counteract the underlying fear that the future will be worse than the present. You know, when you're trying to balance that seemingly stable state of mind, you know, that we got to always we should always keep ourselves in somewhat of a balanced state of mind. You know, you can't be too much on one side and not enough on the other. You have to give yourself some rest and some balance. Yeah.
and then where you were speaking of, Miss Harriet, with the other quote that you just wrote, how we can be looking for an underlying darkness. It's that knowledge to know that it's there, but not necessarily look for it, or not necessarily. Okay, I know you here. I know you in a corner somewhere, but you're not. But you can't take the whole. I'm not gonna give the energy for you to take the whole room and block out everything else. So it's giving and receiving that energy. Thanks, Penn, for that, because I was a little, like I said, that was a big one for me. So thanks for bringing me back to when we were speaking of Libra and balancing. So that was really cool, and I think that's what a stable state is, when we are
Imbalance.
yeah, and when we have and when we can steadfast to a decision.
And understand that each moment is in time. So as we just let that ride for that moment, and and this really is such a good lesson, and this is something that I'm learning, and because I have been thinking about it for many years, is um how to become detached from that sense of what's going to happen in the future. Yeah, we plan and and have goals and such, of course. But what I'm saying is that we're not so tied to I guess the things that we are that we can that we are aligning ourselves with, and I think that, well, for me, as I've gotten older, of course, I realized, I said, it's nothing, what do I own? I don't own anything, you know. The state own half of it. That's why I gotta pay taxes. you know. So, so what, for me not to, give myself over to what will happen in the future, to allow the future to kind of like take care of itself, because when I look back on family, I can imagine that my grandmother knew that I would be okay, when she passed on. So, and I think that that's another reason that we shouldn't fear like the future, or which is death, you know, because it's still, everything carries on. It carries on the way that it's supposed to.
Right. And death is actually the end of one thing and the beginning of something else.
Right.
Because no matter how you look at it, whether we're talking about the physical death of this body or the death of uh, 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 an incident or the end of a project, or
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
it just represents the end of one thing. And when you look at numerology, that we begin with the number 1, and then when we get to the number 10, and especially when you're looking at the tarot cards, they're saying that 10 is the end of whatever you were working on from 1 to 9, and it's the beginning of a new cycle. Or that's what 10 represents, as far as when you see a 10 in the minor arcane.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And number 4 says this fear inhibits the tendency to question at all. And that's that, that's that fear that it has held us back, understanding the fullness. And I think it's because we have been so attached to what we sense, in this.
What we have been taught.
Uh-huh. But also kind of what we feel in these bodies too,
What we experience. Yeah.
Yeah, what we experience. Yeah. Uh-huh.
And because what came to my mind when you read that this fear inhibits the tendency to question at all. When I used to do tours or speak to groups at Colonial Williamsburg, I would always ask, if people had any questions. And I would always finish that sentence or that request with, there are no dumb questions, because what you want to know, someone wants to know it also, but they're just afraid to ask it. So ask. There are no, and that takes us to that fear, which inhibits us from asking to be enlightened about whatever it is we want to know more about.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, this 4th paragraph seemed to be kind of meaty.
Yeah.
Because now we're talking about true vision is the natural perception of spiritual light, but it is still a correction rather than a fact.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what stuck out with me with that, first of all, perception and spiritual sight, both of those kind of stuck out with me. And hold on just a second. Perception, according to Course in Miracles glossary of terms, the process of trying to know an object while separate from it by interpreting or judging information received by our physical senses. Also, the interpreted images that result from this process necessarily involves a separation between subject and object, between us and what we are trying to know. It thus inherently, it is thus inherently uncertain, as well as partial and changing, and outside the realm of knowledge. It seems that outer things and events themselves produce our perceptions of them, yet our perceptions are actually produced by projecting us outward our own, and what you just said, belief system, especially our self-concept.
And just to think that true vision is the natural perception of spiritual sight, but it is still a correction rather than a fact. You know, I'm not really sure I understand maybe but it's still a correction rather than a fact. So I think that for me, what I think that this sentence is saying is that I guess true vision is kind of like that innocence. You know, you can see things, you know, purely as they are, without any type of judgment or you know, or anything. And so so I guess what you're correct. The thing that you are correcting is how you see it, because how would that be? How is correction rather than a fact? But it is still a correction rather than a fact. So so factually, you really haven't. Oh, maybe fact has to do more with the kind of like the physical part.
Can I just one time? Again, I looked up the word vision in the glossary terms from A Course in Miracles. And what that did, when I looked up the word vision, it sent me to look at true perception. The book that I have, it just says vision, see true perception. And true perception says the goal of the course, salvation, usually called vision or Christ's vision, calling spiritual sight early in the text, called spiritual sight early in the text. The sight which comes out of the state of right-mindedness and looks upon the real world, and those words are emphasized, right-mindedness and real world. True perception is the opposite of false or conventional perception. False perception is the projection of our insane illusions. Wow. It sees a world of sin, of forms, changes, and differences. It condemns what it looks on and separates from it in fear. True perception, on the other hand, sees everything as it truly is, perfect. It sees only sinlessness, innocence, holiness, seeing always the same maximal light of Christ in everything. It forgives all it sees, blessing it with miracles and joining it in love rather. True perception does not function like conventional perception. Rather than seeing through our body's eyes, it sees through the eyes of Christ in us.
So that's the correction. The correction is to see with true vision.
Yeah, because that sentence starts off true vision, and like I said, I looked at the word vision.
So that's why we're not really looking at facts, because facts really have to do more with the material world, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay.
It's still a correction it's still a correction rather than a fact.
Right.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, because I was having a hard time with that sentence.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And it goes on. Wait, no, go ahead. I was thinking I saw something about sight, but I didn't. I don't see the word sight in the described in my glossary of terms. You
Oh,
have yours?
I don't have mine with me. Mine is
okay.
updated.
Okay.
What are your thoughts, T?
You know, I'm over here wrestling with fact.
Yeah.
You know, I'm over here like, okay, here we go. I've been kind of working it out, and I think and I can only say it the best way to say it when you don't have anything, you know, to challenge or anything. So just speak your mind. So it's just I look at that as beauty is truth and truth is beauty. So um fact is truth to me. Truth and truth is fact to me. Can I prove certain things? Depends on what we're talking about, you know. But uh, as far as a correction, I don't think you can correct someone the way that they see beauty because or how they see a vision. Because when we're speaking of vision, I mean, we mostly visualize what we're attracted to, whether it be a flower. Or, you know, you don't look in the toilet. Most people don't be like, oh man, I'm gonna look in the toilet today. You don't really like to do that, but you do. Your eyes do search out your mind, your heart. You know, you do feel the experiences through your eyes and vision. So you more or less see what you see in the beauty from what you can see. Is does that make it a fact? No, it can be beautiful, and it can be a beautiful flower and be you know, a fake flower, you know, man-made, or you know, just one of those plastic little things that, but does that take away from its beauty, or that it does exist? So I'm wrestling with that one for a while. So I'm just
Yeah.
waiting.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah,
I'm waiting for the
that
next
is,
step.
but it is a tough sentence. So maybe the rest of the paragraph will kind of be able to see
Break it
how we can
down.
stitch it in. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm ready to because I'm ready. I'm ready to be like, well, ooh, you thought you said that this came from Jesus. All right, I'm gonna tell you about what was going on in Jesus' time.
Mhm.
He saw a
And
lot more
that's a
than what we
fact.
saw. Yeah, he saw, as a matter of fact, he saw a lot more than what we saw. So I'm be patient.
um, I can read number 2. Spiritual sight is symbolic and therefore not a device for knowing. Spiritual sight is symbolic. That makes sense. And therefore not a device for knowing. Yeah. I mean, because I think that in order to see spiritually, we have to see in symbols. That's why sometimes, you know, that dream is so real, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, again, that breaks down that to me too a little bit better. That's why we can be, again, we're attracted. Our vision brings us to something that kind of that makes us comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah,
know,
because, and I was just thinking, I'm driving down the road and I see beautiful flowers growing on the side of the road. Somebody else driving down the road see a bunch of weeds.
Mm-hmm.
And it's your perception of things that let me get my thoughts together. But each has, and what happens is spirit will give you the meaning or the understanding of whatever it is you're seeing, whether it's with your spiritual eye or with your natural eye, it's going to give you the meaning that you need right here and now.
Mm-hmm.
So when I look at something and you look at something that look at the same thing, the spiritual symbol that it represents to me is going to be, it could be a world apart from the symbol that you see,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
But you
yes,
still,
definitely.
but you still should be able to feel it. There's still
Exactly.
that part right there, and that's why it says, and therefore not a device for knowing. So you know, you know, we're both looking at the same at the same thing, having different perceptions, but there still is the truth of what we both see. We see that connection to it,
Exactly.
you know, and I think that that's pretty much what has gone wrong with the world, is that, you know, we're not looking for that thing that's in the center of it. You know, somebody else is making sure that. Now I know you see what I see, right? I'm saying it's not yellow. I'm saying that it's green. So you got to see it as green. You can't
Yeah,
see it as yellow. You got to
yeah,
see it as green. If you're seeing it
And
as
if and if
yellow, and then we force people
and if
into
you
stuff that's not
to
their truth,
believe in
and we can't hear that, and we can't hear their truth. Say that
exactly.
again, Harriet. I'm sorry. I
Exactly.
keep stepping over top of you. Say that again.
No. I was just agreeing with you
Uh-huh.
because no, because I was and then there are those, you see it as yellow. I mean, you see it as green. I see it as yellow. I'm going to insist on it as being yellow, but then you are able to convince me, no, and eventually I'll come around to seeing what I see as yellow, I see it as green.
Right.
There are people that are what I'm saying there are people that will manipulate. Look at what's going on in this nation right now.
Yeah.
well, yeah. Well, I mean, Penn, we even had this conversation. I was telling you about a situation with me last week when you know, I had on my Ankh, I had on Anubis, and I was speaking to someone who had on just a normal cross, you know, and he, I didn't say anything because it's none of my business, but he decided to ask me because what I was wearing not necessarily made him uncomfortable, but it produced enough energy for him to be curious enough to say, why you wearing that? Or can you tell me about that? Or okay, well now so what's the difference between this and then what I'm wearing? And then it got there, and it was like there is no difference. But it was just
Yeah, because they're
it was
both
out of his
crosses.
it was out of his comfort zone for something that he would normally see. Or or something that he has seen, but just hasn't really, paid it too much
Understood.
attention to. And it
Mhm.
and like I said, my uncle has a name. My uncle's name Anubis. It calls out. Okay, you have a cross. What's your cross? Oh, this is just the cross that Jesus was on. Okay,
Right.
tell you any different, But does that represent resurrection to you? Because that's what my aunt does, and I can speak on the why this, that, and the fifth. So it's just to it's not even an icebreaker anymore in when it comes to society. It's like you all were saying. It's either I don't understand it, so I'm gonna try to ridicule you for it or embarrass you for it, or I'm gonna convert you to my side. And eventually you'll understand what I'm saying, and then haha, I got you. So it's a fear of the unknown for people who do not know
Exactly.
because they
Exactly.
are in that where we are in that sentence, and the fear of their vision, which takes us back to they are scared of what's going to come in the future.
Mhm. Mhm.
Mhm.
That's just how I felt. But
Yeah,
No,
but
you're on.
that's
You're
exactly
on
what this is
point.
saying.
Yeah, you're on
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
Y'all want me to read number 3?
Yeah. Go ahead.
mhm.
It is, however, a means of right perception, which brings it into the proper domain of the miracle. It is, however, a means of right perception, talking about spiritual sight, which brings it into the proper domain of the miracle. Yeah, because you can see your miracle much better when you have some spiritual when you have spiritual sight.
Yes.
Because miracles happen all the time, but
Yes,
we
they
don't
do.
always see them.
Mhm.
You know,
Is it that we don't always see them, or we just turn a blind eye to them?
ain't that the same thing? You know, you can't see is can't see.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
So
Yeah.
isn't it amazing that this is saying it is, however, a means of right perception, which brings it into the proper domain of the miracle. So now that we are seeing with spiritual sight, now we have that right perception, so that we are seeing nothing but true vision. We're really seeing the essence of truth.
Right.
And that brings us into the proper domain of the miracle.
Right. And what I really meant when I said turning a blind eye, it's just that we refuse to take a look at whatever it is.
Yeah.
We know it's there, but I ain't gonna look at that.
Right.
No.
Yeah, that programming of I don't got time for that. That program of just actually, just watching a sunset. You ask most people like, hey man, sit down in the chair, man. No, I'm not playing no music. I'm not gonna do anything. I'm just sit in the backyard, watch the sunset, man. We'll just sit back and chit chat. Man, I need to hear something, man. I need to do something. I got to do. Got to do. People are just as busy as ants now, for no apparent reason. At least an ant know why he doing what he doing.
Right.
We're just doing just because it's
Expected of us.
it's it's nerve-wracking sometimes to be in your own skin.
But doesn't that have something to do with, it's just we're just so bombarded with so many
Exactly.
vibrations.
So many,
We
it's
got
nerve-wracking.
microwaves and
Nerve-wracking.
airwaves, and something is constantly on.
Yeah.
You
Most people say,
know.
how they say, and y'all kind of stretched it a little bit in there, so I'm just gonna say something real quick, but it would be amazing if somebody would just knock all the lights out. Yeah, people will lose their mind for a while, but they'll calm down. One
I
thing
don't
they'll
know. They
do.
went crazy when we was
One thing they do.
during the
One thing they will do.
quarantine. We could see the sky for a long could
Yeah,
look
one
up and
thing
see
they'll
the
do. They'll
sky.
band together. Yeah, one thing they'll do. They'll band together. One thing people will do is band together. We didn't, even there, we had our troubles during that time, because there were certain situations. But imagine if we didn't go through the pandemic, would we even
Or
remember
you
who
couldn't
George
come
Floyd
back from it.
was?
Or you can't
Yeah,
come back from it,
you can't come back from that.
Yeah, you can't come back from it. That could
We
happen too.
know, yeah, we know how
It's
to
that fear of the
band.
future. I gotta run
Yeah,
to the
we know.
restroom, y'all. I'll be right back. Y'all go
Mhm.
ahead.
We know how to band together in a situation. Yeah, some people will be like, I done lost my mind. I can't have what I want. People kick and scream and go crazy. The stronger people band
And
together. It's just the way it
it,
is.
that's so true, but the thing of it is, it usually takes some kind of catastrophe or tragedy, a tragic event, to cause people to come together. They can't just do it out of
Because we're gifted, because we're different than any other creature on this planet. We are gifted to have our own free will and a vision. No more, no less. And we don't like, and if I can't have it and you got it, if I got it and you got it too, I gotta take that from you. You can't have that. That's mine.
and why is that?
It's
I
still
mean,
animal. It's always
yeah,
gonna be. It's always
but
gonna be an animalistic nature to us in these forms.
which leads me to believe that we evolved from an animalistic mindset
We're
millions and billions of years ago.
we're no different from anything that God created. We're
Mhm,
reading the book of Enoch. Even they have animalistic points of view.
mhm,
We are from our creator. So even our creator can you know show show anger and rage. It's not just always love and lovey-dovey. Nature shows us that.
mhm,
Nature doesn't mean to kill. It just does what it does. Hurricane is hurricane. Now, earthquake is earthquake.
mhm,
Now, if
mhm,
you
And
continue
all
to,
that actually is creation.
yeah, all that is creation. That's
All
just
that
that's just
creation.
nature.
Yeah.
mhm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, but it's a difference. But that doesn't make it evil. That doesn't make it incarnate. Now when nature decides to say, "Hey, I'm going after just them,"
You've seen that before too.
you
Mhm.
know, yeah, and we've seen that before. When nature start going, I'm just going after them. I don't got no problem with y'all. I just want them.
And who is them?
And then that's that. That then we got a problem because it's like, okay, but that's not that nature is not evil. We create that.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
It's our
Yeah,
perception. Our
yeah,
perception.
We
right.
create.
Mm-hmm. Let's see, I can read number 4. A vision of God would be a miracle rather than a revelation. A vision of God would be a miracle rather than a revelation.
Why is a vision of God in quotes?
I don't know.
Let me.
Yeah.
I'm guessing this is in quotes because you know how people do the high quotes. A vision. I'm just my guess. A vision of God with the quotes is more or less just saying like if you could see God, it would be a miracle rather than a revelation.
Mm-hmm.
Rather than it would be the beginning rather than the end. So
Mhm.
I guess like if I guess he's saying if God came down in human form, a vision. That's how I'm taking because it just
What was when you read vision? What was vision again?
In the course glossary, it sent me to true perception, and I was just
Okay.
hold on, because it makes a reference to something here, and I'm not sure what it is in the course. It's one of the supplements. Oh, clarification of terms,
Well,
maybe.
if it is perception, then that would be a miracle because we perceive miracles because we basically observe them from this human standpoint, from this this level of plane. And when something is revealed to you, that's revealed from that's revealed to a higher state of consciousness, out of mind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know, I know it. I know it's, if you ever get a chance, if you get a chance, Harry, because I know there is one of the 50 principles that talk about,
And
revelation.
okay, they it this thing 4.2. Okay, 4.2.1. Okay, in the manual for teachers, there's a section of a whole thing on true perception and dash knowledge, clarification of terms. And this definition from the glossary refers to the first sentence of the second paragraph, which reads, "The body's eyes are therefore not the means by which the real world can be seen. For the illusions that they look upon must lead to more illusions of reality. And so they do. For everything they see not only will not last, but lends itself to thoughts of sin and guilt, while everything that God created is forever without sin and therefore is forever without guilt." And that's from the manual for teachers in the course.
So that's revelation.
Did I miss something? I thought.
No, I think you were on vision, and Penn was asking about revelation.
Oh, that was on vision.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
And that was in the teacher's manual.
Right. Of course.
So I think we were looking up the difference between miracle and revelation.
Oh, okay. No, let me
Yeah,
go
so
back.
that was the part that was on the vision.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, because when
because I thought there was one of the principles had an explanation of revelation. I was, much better than I do, so.
I'm not gonna say that, but
Oh no, I would. I definitely, because I don't.
I'm keeping up.
You don't ever hear me bringing none of them up.
I'm keeping up. Y'all throwing words out, and I'm catching them. Like, all right, got that one.
Oh, let me just skim through here. You said revelation.
Yeah, I thought, like I said,
I don't.
No.
Oh, okay. Miracle number 28 says miracles are a way of earning release from fear. Revelation induces a state in which fear has already been abolished. Miracles are thus a means, and revelation is an end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'd like to read through stuff and see if there's what look at the miracle that's relevant to whatever it is. And which one was that? The book?
I think you said 28, didn't you?
Let me go back and look, because I just read it and then I went back to my original page. Yeah, 28. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can see that because, if we can see what we perceive, and then we can see, then that's when we can actually see the miracle, because we see what we perceive.
Mhm.
And in
And
Revelation, I can tell you what was revealed to me, but you will
mhm,
never see it
right,
because it was revealed to me. I can describe it, but you'll never see it.
right. And the
Mhm.
only thing that I have to go on is what knowledge you gave to me, or what
Right.
understanding you gave to
Mhm.
me. But I won't be able to, like you say, see it for myself,
Mhm.
Hmm.
or see it the way you saw it. I put it that
Right.
way,
Right.
because
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
eventually I might, be able to see it, but not the same way that you saw it.
Mhm. And then that would be the miracle,
Mm-hmm.
because we have brought it out of Revelation into this
Into a miracle.
dimension.
Yeah, into a miracle. Yeah, we have
Mhm.
brought it from a ending with one to a beginning of another.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
The
Right.
miracle of transferring that knowledge, that energy, um, and passing it along for enlightenment.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mhm.
that enlightenment and that gets passed along, and and so on and so on. So yeah, that's a good one. I think we
Mhm.
untied that knot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Number 5, the fact that perception is involved at all removes the experience from the realm of knowledge. Let me read that again.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that perception is involved at all removes the experience from the realm of knowledge. Hmm. So,
Perception
but
removes.
well, I was going to say the fact that perception is involved at all. So, if we're perceiving it for any reason at all, you know,
Hmm.
you know, that's the fact that that's even happening. That's the thing that removes the experience away. Because I can only experience what is perceived.
Mm-hmm.
Right? The fact
Hmm.
that perception is involved at all removes the experience from the realm of knowledge. So, I don't need knowledge because because I have because perception is involved in this thing. Or am I not seeing it right? How are y'all seeing it?
I'm not seeing it, period.
Um,
The fact
the
that
fact,
perception
yes.
is involved at all removes the experience from the realm of knowledge. I'm not getting that.
I don't. I don't think we should. I think where it is that we should not have a perception. Um, we should not be not necessarily getting up and planning your day. You should already know, your basic opportunities for that day, but not dwelling on an emotion of that day, like, oh, I don't feel like it, I don't, or I have to, or what's going on. If it's already set in stone, it's set in stone. So for perception, for you to say, oh, I'm gonna be stuck in traffic today because these goddamn people will get on my nerves at 5 o'clock, and I really didn't feel like doing this, and I don't even know why I'm taking them to soccer practice. They don't even like soccer.
Mhm.
You know,
And
just
then you
those,
get stuck in traffic.
and then you stuck in, and then yeah, then you get stuck in
Mhm.
traffic, and then you know,
Mhm.
so you know, we shouldn't have that type of. We shouldn't even be thinking. I don't want to say about anything, but we shouldn't be on that wary part. Like I said, traffic, the lights, my
Mhm.
headlight out. You know, I got a donut on my car. Just those things.
Oh, yeah. And look, that brings us right back up to, oh, what was it? The thing about the fact, true vision,
Hmm.
but it is still a correction rather than a fact. And that's what you just said, T, is that, when we are so busy, living from the experience as if we already know it,
Instead of just
now we,
experiencing it
yeah,
again.
now we have that fear of the future, and we're living that as fact.
And,
As so that's the thing that really needs to be corrected.
and there we get deja vu.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And there we get deja vu. How many times have you gone?
Glitch in the
I've done this,
system.
done this
It's a
before.
glitch in the system.
Say that again.
I said a glitch in the system. He said the
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
deja vu, and
There
I
go
said it's
deja
a
vu.
glitch in the system.
It's a glitch in the
Mhm.
system.
Mhm.
Pay attention to what you're doing. Which of course happens, to all of us. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
we all have that preconceived notion of what's going to happen.
Hmm.
And even back to and something that you all said earlier, even back to what y'all said earlier of a preconceived thing that we had that we didn't know. When COVID did hit back then, everybody thought, okay, this is just gonna be the normal flu. Preconceived notion.
Hmm.
People started dropping it, and everybody was like, okay, we're gonna go buy toilet paper. Like that was gonna stop the people from turning into zombies.
Mhm.
Preconceived notion.
The ones who were believing it in the first place, because I will never forget, I saw on the news that there was a man who right before he died, he told his nurse that that there's no such thing as COVID.
And he's in the hospital with COVID.
Yeah, he's in the hospital with COVID, dying from COVID. Right, that was his last words. His last words were there was no such thing as COVID. So you are so dedicated and so committed to your concrete mindset that you can't think outside of what your realm of knowledge, because this is the only experience that you have ever had, you have ever known, is what you say, what
Oh
what
man,
you say it is.
I got the common cold.
Right, and can't nobody tell you no different. Can't
Hey
nobody
man.
tell you no different.
Go back to the early '70s. Hey man, that cough sound bad. Ain't nothing wrong, man. I just got a little bronchitis. You got AIDS.
Hmm.
I'm not
Mhm.
trying to make this a morbid thing, not at all. But we can go through a preconceived notions usually are those
Mhm.
things that get us as humans um where we lie to ourselves.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Hmm.
You know, a
Hmm.
preconceived notion is a lie to yourself.
Hmm. And
And
that's
and
why
we're
you
all
got to have
guilty.
true vision. That's what it
And,
says
and
right
we're
in
all
that
guilty,
first.
yeah.
Yeah, we still looking at that first sentence. We couldn't figure it out. So yeah, I can really see true vision now, because you got to be able to see the truth. If
Mhm.
if so that you don't live in a lie,
Right.
whether yours or whether somebody else's.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's a big one that you said, Pen, for people to living someone else's lie.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing. A lot of times the way we raise our children, a lot of reasons that we are in the communities that we are and dealing with the things that we are is because we live in a lie
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
that our parents told our parents and parents told their parents, and you know,
And parents don't lie to their children. Never, ever.
yeah, that's the truth. I tell mine, I lie to you. I will lie to you. I will lie on you. You know who you messing with. I lie on you, man. No, I ain't worried about it.
Oh.
Dad, you're gonna go down there with the devil. I say you see.
Oh,
Turn down the AC.
Okay, so
Uh,
this number, oh, so this
no,
sentence
just joking, just
says,
jokes.
that is why visions, however holy, do not last.
hmm.
Yeah, I guess I can say that too, but all accounts of what vision we talking about, because
Well, and in the sense of that sentence, I'm thinking of visions as dreams, um, passing thoughts.
mhm.
Yeah.
That's how I'm seeing visions being used there. That's why visions, however holy, do not last. It's something that comes into our consciousness or our minds or whatever, and it's there, maybe for just a brief moment or maybe for an extended period of time, but it will, as the phrase goes, this too shall pass.
Yeah, I guess I'm seeing it a little bit different because when we look at most holy things now, it is because it was somebody's vision.
Mm-hmm.
Buddha's vision, Jesus's vision, somebody else's vision, you know,
Right,
and
right.
so there's still that vision is still there.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. All accounts to how we're seeing vision here. So I guess
It's
because like at the top of
it's
the
our difference in perception.
yeah, like at the top of the sentence is, I mean, the top of the paragraph is true
True
vision.
vision.
So
Mm-hmm.
maybe it needs um, you know, something extra to go along with it. That is why
Right.
vision. You can't think of whether, I don't know. I can't think of I can't even, the grammar. I can't even see that. Okay, that's gone. But anyway,
Go ahead.
that is why visions, however holy, do not last. So I'm thinking that a vision, okay, going back up to number 4, a vision of God would be a miracle rather than a revelation. That is why visions, however holy, do not last. I don't know.
Where are my glasses?
All kinds of how lasting. What does last
Well,
mean?
I think he's speaking. I think he's still speaking when it comes to perception. I still think he's speaking on that last sentence that we read. The fact that perception is involved at all removes the experience from the realm of knowledge. So he's speaking of the realm of knowledge. That is why visions, however holy, do not last, because we are still, even though we can see that perception still blocks that third eye. You know how we were just speaking. I mean, my perception, my point of view. Uh, what he's saying is that perception still, our perception still blocks that third eye with everything that we have coming in. So we cannot hold on to that. We can't hold on to that vision for so long.
Can
It's
I
not that it's not that it doesn't. It's not that you don't remember it. It's not that you cannot speak upon it. It's just that we cannot hold on to it that long for a long period of time where we can say, "Hey, y'all, look at this," and bring it down to somebody else. We can't hold on to it personally that long. So it comes in, and it comes in when I guess when we're unconsciously, I guess when it just happens. Whether
Mhm.
a good person or a bad person or a holy person or, where you just finally feel that, that makes sense.
Oh,
And
so that's how come. So that's the perception that kind of that begins to shift. Okay, say like let's just talk about Christianity for a second.
mhm,
So that's why so many, because there have been so many different like organizations or denominations, that's the word. There have been so many types of denominations that the true vision of it kept getting, chipped away, chipped away, chipped away,
watered
chipped away,
down?
chipped away, so that because one person wanted to see it only one specific way, or they only could see it in one specific way, and then that, and then that, and then that. And so that's how come the whole vision of it kind of didn't, I'm not gonna say it didn't last because it's still here,
It's
but
mm,
veiled. It's veiled.
it's veiled. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's
Can
why
I,
you can't see the whole of it, because you know because of because the of vision. Okay.
um couple of things. I looked in the revealing word for vision
Mm-hmm.
and perception. And the interesting thing, the words are there, but then before they give the definition, they put a comma after the word perception and vision, and they inserted the word spiritual. So they're given a spiritual definition of both vision and perception. Now, vision, it says seeing God as the foundation of all, the sources of all, and the substance of all, seeing the good, the true, and the beautiful everywhere. In this manner is the eye single and vision perfected. And he describes his definition of spiritual perception: apprehension of truth, and truth is capitalized, through intuition, the ability to perceive spiritually, the faculty of seeing spiritual reality in spite of appearances that may suggest the contrary. Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Well, yeah. I mean, I get it. I
Mhm.
get it because I can see
I'm
it. I
glad you
can
do.
see it from that perspective. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, just okay, just that. So just right there. Although, although the words that I'm saying are so, they have absolutely no description, but you know what I was talking about.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
I mean,
So you can see what I'm saying without me having to show it to you. So that's
And I'm seeing it with your words.
right, right. And with few and limited words too. you know, that really just was kind of like, so it sounded like some random words thrown together. But
Mm.
you know, you were able to understand what I was saying from what I was thinking through, from my thoughts and maybe tone of voice, or you know. And I think that that's the thing that's holy. That's the thing that's holy, where I envisioned it in my mind, although my words didn't show you what was coming out in what was in my mind, but you saw it from in your mind what I was thinking.
Right.
But that's why they don't have to last.
Okay.
That's why they don't have to last, because you saw it from what it was, without having to have like a tangible piece of it.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. I got it.
Oh, well, that was deep.
Yes. Yes, it was.
That was deep. So is that how you see it too, Andre?
I'm looking at both of those sentences, and again, yeah, I see it to a degree. Um, but it takes me back to kind of something that I said earlier. You know, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Holiness is in the eye of the beholder. I can't tell you, or how your experience has made you the spiritual person that you are, or Miss Harriet, or anyone. I can only be there to witness it, of what has come. So I'm looking at it from that point of view on how that ends. That is why the vision, however holy, does not last. You know, it does that. I don't have to see. You don't have to see it. You don't have to see it in you. I don't have to see it in me personally, because we see it in each other. So it's the point that it's internally now. So people see it in us, even though that we're like, I don't know what the heck is going on today. We still have something in us that is now a knowledge and in a awakening, in a vision. You know, even though things may get in that cluttered way, as we were saying, of the vision, you know we are aware that that is a part of us now, and so we are looking to continue to move like that, and we're hungry to understand it. So I do agree, and I think the way that we choose to speak to each other, where we can all see it in a very personal and in a very utopic manner, versus whether I'm cracking a joke and I'm being a little rough with it, you guys can see me acting like Fred Flintstone and Bonnie Rubble, just with Captain Caveman. You all can get my imagination just the same as I can get you all's as well. So it's just something that we can share and share alike, and that is something that is that connection of everything that I think we've been speaking of on this Envision, because we see the best in each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I ain't lose nobody, did I?
I was
No.
going to say that sounds like a round table to me.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
But
I was looking at
it is
everything all in one lump
6:26.
sum.
And I think that you were right, Harriet. We did get to two paragraphs, in this one session. So I got a lot of noise going on in my background. So I'm gonna save mine. Hold on a second. Hey, can y'all quiet down a little bit? Thank you. Okay, so yeah, so what I was
Exactly. I know. I would have said the same thing too. I was like, no.
But anyway, so let me say mine real quick. But one of the things that I got from today's session is just to learn how to trust my true vision, my inner vision. And this is one of the things that I feel that this group has helped me learn how to trust myself and what it is that I believe and why I believe it. And so I just want to thank y'all for that. How about you, Harriet?
Well, the biggie for me today was the clarity of understanding time and what it's all about. I got a lot out of today's session, but like I said, the biggie for me today was that clarity as far as time is concerned. And I will continue to absorb and gain an understanding of this whole Course in Miracles itself. And that's it.
Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you. That's super cool. Well, this weekend comes Saturday is our big day, movie time. I'm so excited. So we're gonna meet over at Sandra's at 2. We'll meet over at Sandra's at 2 and we'll watch the movie. We're just gonna have a great time. And I don't think we're gonna meet on Sunday because I think I'm gonna go and see Larry on Sunday.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, so we'll just meet on Saturday and we'll take Sunday off.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Yeah. And so
Sounds
so that's it. Oh no, no,
okay.
no, 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 that's not it. I had tomorrow and tomorrow morning at 11, we're gonna go for I am, and it's from 7 to 8:30. We'll be continuing in our study of reading book reading flight. So yeah, that's gonna be pretty cool. All righty. So would somebody like to close us out in prayer?
I can.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Let us take in a full, deep, cleansing breath. And as we exhale, we let go of all the tensions and worries and stresses of this day, letting them float away on that cloud or down the stream on that dry leaf that's floating by. And we are grateful for this time that we've had together, this time of enlightenment, learning, gaining knowledge, and a better understanding of this Course in Miracles, and learning how we can apply the principles and the lessons and the philosophy of what this Course is all about. Love is letting go of fear. And with that, I say, and so it is.
And so it is. All right, everybody. See
Right,
you
everybody.
later.
Blessings.
Love you.
See you guys later. Love you.
Love you.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.